the fact that, flamboyant jungle bird is one of the very acceptable and, in fact, encouraged forms of presenting masculinity in wrestling never ceases to amaze me. And Kyle is that beautiful, naked jungle bird.
Hello, you are listening to The Commentary Booth, a podcast for the girlies and others. I'm your host, Wooster182, and joining me today are...
D. Hi.
I'm Jane, pronounced she, her.
Lauren, she, her.
So today we are going to discuss the AEW's last pay-per-view, Redemption. We're going to do things a little differently. There are so many great podcasts that do review shows, so we decided we are going to do like an after red carpet show, kind of like Melissa and Joan Rivers, if you're old enough to remember watching E! So, with that, does anyone want to talk real quick about what media we consume before we get into the show?
I think that I have seen a movie that perhaps others have as well, which is the Odyssey. Very much the zeitgeist movie of the summer, in my opinion. I thought it was fine. 7.5 out of 10.
Sometimes fine is good.
Sometimes fine is good. It wasn't bad. It wasn't the greatest movie ever, which is what some of the reviews I felt like were saying. I will say it's very hard for me because, I did Latin for 6 years. I've got a lot of opinions on the classics and their depictions on film. I am not Christopher Nolan's target audience, and I don't think my complaint of where are all the colors? Why is Greece, and very specifically ancient Greece, so colorless? I don't think that's a complaint that Christopher Nolan really needs to work around. It's God damn, what will those classics nerds think of this movie portrayal? On the other hand, I do think 3 hours is too long for a goddamn movie. Please put an intermission in, but also 3 hours is too long. Break it up. 2, it is such a Christopher Nolan movie. Obviously the women are underwritten. I did not appreciate. I mean, I know people will say, "Oh, the Odyssey's non-linear," which is true, but it's not that non-linear. I think it ruined the momentum. He does what I do, and more than one of my fan fictions, where I make it non-contiguous timelines because I don't know how to write connecting scenes. Christopher Nolan, you have a much bigger budget than I do and are a lot more talented as a creator than I am. You also can afford to hire a decent scriptwriter. I don't know why he can't write dialogue. He has to know now. Everyone's criticized him on this. Why go hire? You don't have to be good at everything. You can go and hire other people.
He thinks he is, though.
Oh,
I'm sorry. That ending was so masturbatory.
Oh my god.
He was so
I'm seeing it this weekend. I mean, it's hard to spoil the Odyssey, and I don't care about spoilers anyway. But exactly. I am seeing it this weekend, so I know what to look out for.
Yeah, the ending is stupid. It's also okay, it's very much like Christopher Nolan's morality. First of all, he makes ancient Greece weirdly Christian. It's okay, guys. Every religion is based on when it was formed. And Bronze Age and Iron Age religions, which, by the way, includes my religion, Judaism, are going to be very different than something like Christianity, which arises, in 0 AD and is really built around the infrastructure of the Roman Empire. But I thought that was egregious. And then speaking of masturbatory, why is Odysseus being I can't believe you're a draft dodger. It's well, in the books he pretends to be crazy and run over his son. Christopher Nolan just loves a movie about a great man coming to terms with the evil he has wrought. And it's okay, dude, first of all, Odysseus does not think of himself as evil. Second of all, you have responsibilities. Get back to them. Also, Christopher Nolan, you need to leave Hollywood because almost all of your actresses had an iPhone face. I cannot believe Charlize Theron and Anne Hathaway have never seen an iPhone. I like them as actors, but it does take me out of ancient Greece, as did Matt Damon's six-pack. On the other hand, I don't think that Christopher Nolan is trying to make the world's greatest movie. I think he has something he wants to say, and he's using the Odyssey as a medium to say that. I think that's fine. I thought that the music slapped, and I thought it was visually impressive. And it's nice to see a big, somewhat intelligent movie succeed in theaters. So, you know.
Can I interject with two very quick things?
Please do.
Okay, one, skipping back a few topic points, now I really want to see the Odyssey done as a last 5 years style. Start at the beginning and the end at the same time and meet in the middle.
Just
And
do
the
that as
other one-
Memento.
Yeah, do it as Memento.
The other thing is that in regards to people taking away things from, I'm making not really an adaptation of the Odyssey, but my adaptation of the Odyssey and what I took away from it. I am planning at some point to get a little tipsy, get a little elevated, and watch Wuthering Heights because the new one, because granted, I haven't seen it yet, but I think based on a lot of the criticisms that I've seen, I either see what she's going for or I took something completely different out of it while high that was intended. And I'm really curious to see which of those is correct because I really do okay, this is what I'm taking out of this story. Like, again, Guillermo del Toro's version of Frankenstein.
Yeah.
And that dealing with father issues. Nolan's great man contends with what he has wrought, things like that. So I'm curious about doing it to some maybe slightly lower brow or at least poor reviewed things.
Yeah.
And it helps that I like bad movies. So, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I always think adaptations are interesting. And, every story in its own way is its adaptation. And I think people get too hung up on fidelity to the source material. Although I'm always someone who's like, the source material is still there. If an adaptation sucks, it doesn't change my enjoyment. I do know some of my friends say the otherwise, which is, true.
I used to be that way when I was actually up until I was in my 30s, like early 30s, I would say. And honestly, now that I think about it, it coincides with me actually coming out to myself as bisexual. But yeah, I came out to my spouse and they were like, we had crushes on the same girls the entire time I've known you.
Aww.
But anyway, I was really big into Star Wars and X-Men. Those were like my two big things when I was younger. And I did fandom in a much more, I guess, masculine way back then in that I was cataloging all of my knowledge and things. And it would really upset me if things didn't fit into canon, which I think part of that is because I grew up reading the Star Wars Expanded Universe, which would bend itself into pretzels to try to get everything to fit in. And with fanfic, I would try to be like, okay, this is the 5-minute period in between this and this where I can make this story work. And now I'm just like, oh, fuck it, we ball. I don't have the time and the effort to be worried about that anymore.
I agree with
fair.
all of that, except for Netflix's Dakota Johnson Persuasion adaptation should be illegal.
I have heard this. I have heard this a lot, so I'm going to have to watch it at some point.
Just one last note about Nolan, too, and then I'll wrap it up, I promise. I think not having Odysseus kill the slave girls and or bang around Greece was such a pussy move. He's like, well, if he's working towards his redemption, then he can't do bad things. I'm like, stop.
Once again, that's viewing it through a Christian view.
Modern day lens. Like, yeah, it's fucked up that Odysseus kills and the slave girls. It's really fucked up. The ancient world was fucked up. And, yeah, it is fucked up that Penelope had to be pure for 10 years or else she'd get murdered, whereas Odysseus can bang every single magic-using woman on, 3 different islands. The ancient world was fucked up. Look away, What is it? Oh, as Werner Herzog said about WrestleMania 17, the poet must not avert their eyes.
I love Werner Herzog.
Oh my god. That's awesome.
I will say, so I went, and I went Sunday, kind of against my will, Yes. So on Tunnel Talk this past week, when this is airing, they mentioned that everyone has a friend that has watched Farscape and wants you to watch it too.
That's me. I'm sorry.
My Farscape friend said, "Hey, do you want to go see a movie?" I'm like, "Sure. What do you want to go see?" She said, "I really want to go see the Odyssey." I was like, "God damn it!" And so I said yes. I'm not a Christopher Nolan girly. I think his movies are mostly like watching paint dry. But I said, "Sure, I'll go because I love you." It was fine. It was way better than I thought it was going to be. It was like a, not old Hollywood, but like traditional, popcorn movie, which I appreciated. Um, John Leguizamo representing for us Latinas and Latinos. He did an amazing job. Viva la raza. I was so proud of him. But there's a scene towards the end, like the climatic fight scene, where I don't want to spoil anything, but I think Matt Damon has like an axe or something long, and he starts spinning it around in a crowd of people, and they back away. And to me, it looked like when a wrestler's in a ladder match, and he puts his head in the ladder rung, and he starts spinning it around. And I got so tickled, I could not stop laughing. And I was afraid someone would get upset, but that movie was so freaking loud, no one could even hear me laugh. But I was losing my mind because I just saw like Orange Cassidy or Mark Briscoe just spinning around, hitting everybody.
Yeah, I would have lost it too.
So, Lauren, what did you consume this week?
Okay, I started a lot of things. I started Ride or Die, which I'm adoring. I started reading a book called 32 Words for Field, which is a book about the Irish language. I started reading Hannah Murray's autobiography, Magic is Real, and I started the pre-production on an audiobook called Marginal Virtue, which incidentally does take place the very, very beginning for one of the characters who starts off life as one of the Furies, takes place during the whole Achilles and Hector, like right around the aftermath of that. That's right when it starts. So keeping on topic there. And I've started watching the Boondocks again because I need to have something playing while I play video games because, again, ADHD. And it's been a long time since I've seen the Boondocks, and someone was talking about it, and I was like, hell, I should watch that again. The one thing I did finish was I got high and watched Kung Pao Enter the Fist again.
Yay!
Which, brilliant movie any way that you watch it. It still holds up. I think there's some very 90s jokes there, but it's 90s more in the sense of like, oh, I have a boombox, or kind of outdated terminology, not in the sense of homophobia, racism, the kind of casual stuff that we still accepted back then in pop culture. And again, it's so funny. It's so just perfectly nonsensical for me. And I still quote it all the damn time. I took jujitsu for a while back when I was in college, and my instructor's son and I both used to do the wee before class to annoy him.
It's always fun to just like randomly quote stuff like that. Because, what is it? When I was still doing the whole music thing, I have no idea why we decided to pick, was it the Detroit Museum of Art for whatever reason? We're just randomly like going around quoting that movie. I, I do not understand what the connection was, tenuous at best, but that was actually a really good but random memory.
So, Dee, what have you consumed this week?
Well, I am kind of sort of in the same boat of the whole, I started sort of thing. So I'm still reading the one manga I mentioned, Love is Hard for Otaku. That's actually progressing pretty well because the protagonist's boyfriend's younger brother, they're starting to, find somebody interesting and everything's starting to intersect there. So that's cute. I started to read the book Bullet Train by Kotaro Isaka, and it's the same Bullet Train that was it they had a Netflix movie about.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I decided to pick that up, and I found out that it's part of a series or whatever. So it's interesting so far because you don't get like a lot of like the general backstory of of the main character until you read the book, because the way the movie is posited is like you could have actually fit a little bit more exposition in there. Nothing against the movie, but yeah, the book is definitely holding my interest right now, so I'd recommend it.
That's awesome. I for my birthday last week snuck
Happy
out and
birthday.
thank you.
Happy.
Thank you. I snuck out and watched Evil Dead Burn because the internet kept telling me that it was great and that it was awful, and I'm finding that what internet discourse is calling an amazing horror movie now, I tend to dislike, and what they're calling awful, I tend to like. So I really liked it. If domestic violence is a trigger for you, I would not recommend watching it. Um, but and it's brutal. There's also a pretty brutal dog scene if that's something that you can't take. But oddly enough, it was also quite funny, which doesn't sound like those two things that go together.
No, that's a good
But
Evil Dead movie.
Yeah.
it is.
I don't like horror. I'm too soft-hearted. But I think there's a lot of overlap between horror and comedy. Like, it's a lot of suspense.
Yes. Jordan Peele has talked so much about that, about why, and that's one of the reasons why he's, I think, so good at both comedy and horrors. He understands using both of them to build and then relieve tension. Like, both of those genres are about building and relieving tension.
My best friend was saying that Danny McBride is the executive producer of the last 3 Halloween movies, and was on the podcast saying the same thing, which it makes a lot of sense to me. But what I found really interesting about while I was watching Evil Dead Burn was that the 3 of the top horror movies this year, Evil Dead Burn, Obsession, and Backrooms, all have one of the main characters is a nice guy, a hashtag nice guy
Oh
that,
God.
Yeah.
seem like should be successful or should be very safe to be around or, very sweet. And then, you realize that mostly from their inactivity or their own insecurities is actually quite dangerous to be around. Right. And I just found that really interesting, especially 2 years into, the repeal of Roe versus Wade, that all got reflected within like a 3-month period this summer. I just found that really interesting. I wish that was being reflected in female filmmakers. Like, I don't love that it's men reflecting this back on to me, telling me what my experience is, but I do find it interesting.
Have you ever heard the theory about like whatever genre of like monster is like reflective about like
I
what
was about to bring this up. Yes.
society is? Like, so zombies, like both communism, and then I would say kind of like a individual fear
Like
of the world,
conservatism
conformity.
tends to breed zombies. Warning about the over sexualization of things tends to bring vampires.
The AIDS crisis. There's a lot of vampire movies in the 90s.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I wonder if like the horror of the what are we worried about in the horror of the 2020s? The nice guys.
Nice guys. Yeah, again, It took that long for it to pass through the writing, editing, and fundraising process to make it here. But no, like you said, not just within the Roe versus Wade thing, but you look at that set of brothers that I don't want to name, but who are now under arrest because finally, and their followers and the little, looks maxing offshoots that we've been getting. You kind of got to expect that some of that is going to filter into, whether it's, again, horror here or comedy. A lot of the like podcasts that I listen to have been making fun of those guys for a while, doing little like skits and things.
What was I going to say? I mean, Backrooms also, I would say, has like a subplot with frustrated male expectations and how they drive men to do horrible things. I will say Promising Young Woman did a good job of having nice guys. You know, another Emerald Fennell movie, but they cast a lot of nice guys, and like stereotypically like Bo Burnham was in it.
Bo Burnham, yeah.
It was being like kind of the same, playing with expectation. But good point, Lucer.
Yeah. Thanks. Okay, if we are ready to move on to the discussion of redemption, we're going to start with our Dandy Awards for Fancy Folk. Jane, I love that suggestion. So I'm going to throw it to you first. Oh, which Fancy Folk would you like to talk about first?
Man. There were so many. You can criticize, and I have criticisms with a lot of redemption, but you cannot criticize the looks. I'm going to give a shout out to, I'll say the Tekla versus Willow match, because first of all, Willow looked so good in that pink lemonade gear, pink and yellow. She was adorable. She was precious. She so good. And then I really liked, in contrast, Tekla's gear, which had like a cool industrial jacket and like a cape, which was so stupid, but she somehow like managed to make it work. They're two very stylish wrestlers, and it was fun to see the different ways they expressed their characters through that styling. And from a non-wrestler perspective, I also want to give a shout to Arcady and her blue gown. Looked stunning. Lovely work. Lovely work.
Was that the shiny, kind of meshy looking?
It was like blue with like it was blue and it had like a strap at the top, and then it was low cut, and then it was like a gown.
Who's the one married to Big Bill?
Lexi. Yeah,
was she in like a gray, silver? Because my dad thought it looked like the background. This is going to age us. The background of David Letterman's. If you ever watched the late night show with David Letterman, like his background, he thought it looked like her dress.
I'm mad I remember that.
I don't think so. This was definitely a little bit more. This was pretty glam, but I don't know. I like a little bit of glam.
There was a lot of glam in this show.
There was a lot of glam. Yes. I agree.
Dee, would you like to talk about Kyle Fletcher's look?
Yeah. See, the one thing I absolutely love about Kyle is that he always plays around with his presentation. So with the little headgear that he has on, he always seems to go for like vaguely threatening member of the Unseelie court, and he knocks it out of the park every single time.
I know that it's probably the, a costumer or somebody on the props team or somebody who's making those headpieces for them. Probably like a third-party costumer or something. But I like to imagine Kyle and Sky having craft nights and making their little crowns, their little flower crowns.
If they win, Kyle inevitably goes face, because all wrestling morality is flexible. If they make him stop being like a pink flamboyant bitch named Breakfast, I'm gonna lose my mind. I will kill them if they do this. But I love evil, like Liberace, Elton John. I love it so much. So good.
No, it's perfect. I was pointing out somewhere during some live skeeting or other that there's like 3 subgenders of masculinity in pro wrestling. There is I just showed up like this, which is like Mox, and when Brody Lee was wrestling in like the jeans and the tank top. And there is the most naked man alive, which I would argue is also Kyle, because usually when he's wearing, by the way, Excalibur seemed so worried that Kyle was wearing different shoes this time, or at least wasn't wearing kick pads. But when he's wearing, the pink little panties and the kick pads, he always looks more naked to me than if he was actually naked. And then, of course, like Andrade, once he de-pantses himself, and then there is the most sparkly being ever to exist ever. So, it must have been during Mystery Wrestling when I said that, because I was talking about John Johnny TV / Johnny Mystery. And the fact that, flamboyant jungle bird is one of the very acceptable and, in fact, encouraged forms of presenting masculinity in wrestling never ceases to amaze me. And Kyle is that beautiful, naked jungle bird.
I appreciate with Kyle, I feel like the heelishness is not that he's like ambiguously attracted to men. It's that he's specifically ambiguously attracted to Don Callis, and we all find that very upsetting.
Yes,
that's the true heel move right there.
We were fine when it was Takeshita, but when it's Don Callis and that weird, like, psychosexual sugar baby thing they have going on, I mean, well done for, playing that to the hilt.
Right. I mean, yeah, that is some like S tier scamming. Yay, good. But here's the thing: it's like the way you're talking about that morality. That kind of stuck with me because it's like, oh, he betrayed Will. You know what? Will betrays Will on a daily basis anytime he talks. That's okay. That's light work. Oh, he betrayed Takeshita. Okay, you guys were kind of like fading anyway. Oh, you're with Don. Ew. No, you are getting booed just as loudly as Don. Have some shame.
The two biggest crimes in pro wrestling that a wrestler can commit in kayfabe, I should say, because we all know there's plenty that they commit elsewhere. Okay, but the two biggest kayfabe crimes, at least in AEW, are betrayal and cozying up to Don Callis.
That is unfortunately true.
Okay, so I really liked Maya World's baby blue peplum. It was so cute, and it was, I don't know if it was stylish, but it looked very 1999 in that baby blue, and then the little peplum all the way around was very sweet. I just really liked it.
I agree. And I think that like that lighter color worked so well with her too, you know what I mean? Because she is like, so good.
Yeah, I'm looking at her outfit right now, and first off, there's this like lace cross detail at the very front. It's crossing across like I said cross so many times, but across her collarbones. And it's this black lace with rhinestones on it. And then it's so cute. And the little bow, and then that in combination with the like chain accessories, it's such an interesting mix of very, cute, feminine, and badass.
Mm-hmm. Well, and
I like that.
Kind of like all the women.
It's a good dichotomy.
You talked about Arcady being very glamorous, and then you look at Renee, and she was so sleek and so put together and looked so powerful in that black with the suit with her blonde hair pulled back. Her makeup was perfect. Marina was the same way. Like, she didn't really change her outfit that much, but her makeup was so perfect. She looked so scary and so pretty. I didn't know if I should like be in love or be terrified. I think I was a little bit of both.
Both. Yeah, the answer you're looking for is yes.
Scare-roused, yes.
Scare-roused. My opinion, and I've said this before, but I'll say it again, is that Marina's the sexiest wrestler in AEW. Oh. And I love that she can just wear like normal clothing as compared, not that I love all the fancy gear. I do love all the fancy gear. It's hard not to notice if you look at the women's roster versus the men's roster, like who's putting in effort and who's allowed to have off days and who's not. So there's something nice about seeing Marina in athletic wear. I will say I am now fully just bitch eating crackers about Mox. Like anything he does at this point is going to annoy me. But like when he was on screen yelling at Will, and then like Renee was there, I'm like, Renee, look at you in your nice suit, looking all stylish. How does your husband show up? Oh, white t-shirt. Oh.
Have original. You seen the photos of him when they go to friends' weddings and he's there in his combat boots and fanny pack?
Yes.
I'm not surprised, but I am disappointed.
I can't say anything because, like I just said, I feel very uncomfortable outside of, t-shirt and jeans or t-shirt and sweatpants. I've been trying my whole life. Like, I keep saying, like, I would have been more goth when I was younger if I had just had, like, the courage to wear uncomfortable, like, textures. But, hey, it turns out neurodiversity can do that to you. So it should have been another clue earlier on. So I get it, but at the same time, it's very funny. Also, shout out to that like Wonder Woman bracelet that Renee was wearing. It's like, it was like a thick bronze gauntlet almost. And it's just, oh, I loved that. That was just such a good accent look.
She really dressed like she belonged at the Continental, i.e. the Continental is the whole hotel from John Wick. So
Yes.
long way of saying, yeah, she really did look like an assassin, and that is a very classic, very fire look.
And I really hate that my first thought when I saw it was sexy, dominant Olive Garden host. I'm so sorry.
You're not
like
wrong,
I do
though.
love it. I do love how she looks in it, but that's
It's
just
in my
first
head now.
thought. I'm sorry. I am so sorry.
That's not wrong, though. Like, you've said it, and like suddenly my whole worldview is rearranging. Like,
Right.
you're right.
She,
like,
she
wow.
looks like she would strong arm you into getting more cheese on your soup.
Strong arm, like I'm not begging for it. Wait, I meant the cheese. Okay, I meant it both ways.
Oh,
I also want to give a shout out to the commentary table, and I'm probably stepping on Tunnel Talk's gimmick, but Nigel and Tony Schiavone were clearly in matching outfits. One was in blue and white, and then the other one was inverse of that. I really liked that play. And then when Taz came in, he just looked so sharp. He wasn't in orange. He just had a sharp gray suit on. He looked healthy and not in pain. I like short, angry, round men, so he was right in my wheelhouse. I like what I like.
I get it.
We all understand.
We all understand. We all have at least one person, or at least one type that we say, and then everyone goes, really? And you have to go with some shame. Really?
Yeah. Can I give a quick shout out that I don't think we had put on the notes, but I'm looking at a picture and it jogged my memory. Clark Connors' mismatched camouflaged pants. The right side is green camouflage. The left side is khaki desert camouflage. And I keep picturing him trying to straddle, like, sand on one side, plants on the other, like whether it's at an oasis or like on the side of a jungle beach. But I keep picturing him trying to straddle that and kind of hopping along and being like, look, I'm hidden. And Tekla's ahead of him, like 3 margaritas in. Just like, oh, okay, it's good. It's a good thing he's pretty.
Yeah.
And in fact, as soon as I am done, I have a thing I need to do again tonight before I go to sleep. But I've been trying to work on art more lately, so I really want to try my hand at making that into an animated GIF of him just like do skittering along.
So that brings me to my next topic, because when I was putting my notes together, one of the first things I wrote down was matches with per capita prettiness, and to me, it was the Bang Bang Gang versus the Dogs. The amount of pretty men in that match, it wasn't a good match, but it was a pretty one.
I mean this with love. There's one pretty man in that match. I will respect that, we all have our own different tastes, but who are the other pretty men in your opinion?
Oh. Wow.
I know Dee's answer.
Well, that's the thing is, yeah, it's like Juice is like, okay, sir, good for you. But yeah, Jay, and David actually, I really want to know where along the line he slowly became my type, because that part of my life needs to be studied. But
he's looking good these days, though.
Yeah, he actually looks happier too. So maybe that's another thing that actually
he seems like he's having fun, and that's making me enjoy him more. Again,
right.
The match, it could have been better. It would have been better if they allowed them to bleed, because you expect the chain this type of stipulation.
And the chain length was way too long though, because the more the time was actually them trying to like disentangle themselves, because right on your wrist, really. But still, that's a whole other thing that people have seen me gripe about, and I don't want to put that on the listener. because I'm almost getting sick of talking about it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
All I will say is that Jay White and David Finlay look like they could play like a human version of weasels. Like they're very muscular men.
Actually, that is like a nickname I have for Jay, because everybody calls him, it's like, oh, Jay looks like a wet rat. No, Jay looks like a wet ferret.
Yes,
Pointy.
thank you. I was going to say sexy ferret Jay White.
Yes, because like the ferret thing fits, because one of the things Jay White usually does when he's in different companies, he steals. Because when he came to AEW, he stole Mox's jacket. He stole Sting's bat. He stole Max's title, which, that's another thing that needs to be stricken from history. But yeah, Jay has a penchant for stealing because ferret.
Also, he's wiggly.
Okay, two things, because I
like a
feel like I
ferret.
have to defend my own honor here. If you hide everything about Juice Robinson and just look at his eyes, he has the
Juice?
prettiest eyes you have ever seen.
I'm searching this.
Oh, he does.
No, she's correct. Juice actually does have very, very pretty eyes, and I'm sure he's a fabulous person all the way around. But it's like, you know how Jane just mentioned the whole like, really? That's mine, and I've been told I have interesting tastes. Put it that way.
We all do. We all do.
Yeah, I am fairly undiscerning. I find most people. Well, okay. In that, I find most people aesthetically very beautiful. I think I can find at least one good-looking part of a person, one thing that I'm like, okay,
that got me into a lot of
you have
trouble
that
in high
going
school.
for you.
Yeah,
I can find that on most people.
Oh, geez.
But that's like aesthetically, I think, more than like sexually. Juice intrigues me.
Oh.
You know?
No, actually, after a fashion, as soon as you said that, yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah, he does have beautiful eyes. He's somebody that I would like to hang out with for an afternoon. If he was in character. Like, let's assume Juice the character. I think any longer than that, either I might get irritated or we might get arrested. But or both. Yeah. But for an afternoon, I think it would be a fun afternoon. Like, go to a zoo with Juice Robinson. I think that would be fun.
Oh, God, that'd be hilarious.
No, that'd be so stressful for me. I'd be like, oh my God, I'm going to lose him in the crowd.
All you have to do is just say, Juice, what?
Well, and to bag someone like Tony Storm, there's got to be something there. Like, that makes him also a couple notches hotter just because, like...
This is so true.
That's a good point.
Yep.
The coolest thing a man can have is a really cool girlfriend. Like, whenever I see a guy whose girlfriend just rocks, like, immediately my opinion of that man, like, raises.
It's like somebody is vouching for them.
Exactly.
Yeah. It is a good Amazon review.
If you've ever seen pictures of Finlay's dad, he has no business being as attractive as he is. I'm just going to say that. The son.
The dad being attractive, or this is not
Finlay being
that
attractive.
Yeah, the son is much more attractive than the father.
Yes.
Yeah. Because if you see Fit Finlay, you're like, how? The mother's genes won.
Yeah. Doing a lot of work there.
Genes didn't even bother to show up.
So another match with per capita prettiness was Thekla versus Willow.
Unsurprising. So good.
Mm-hmm.
So pretty.
They're both so beautiful and they're both so talented. And like they both have just such amazing auras to them. Like Thekla with that, badass, very threatening but fun vibe. And Willow with, she's the equivalent. You look at her and it's like a warm hug. And she has that incredible smile. And she's so strong. Both of them are so strong. And they both looked also, again, with the makeup and the outfits and the talent and, just amazing. I love them both so much.
Willow Tekla was probably my match of the night, and some of that has to do with like the actual wrestling, because I both love the contrast in styles, because like I love like Willow's like power, and then Tekla's like more like tricks and submissions and like speed. And I think that also in some ways applies to like the aesthetic appeal, where it's like, yeah, two very beautiful women, two very different aesthetics, and pretty much complete opposites aesthetically. And it's like, wow, you know, the world is such a bright, varied rainbow.
Does anybody remember that TV movie? I think it was called Life Size with Tyra Banks, where she's like a Barbie doll that comes to life.
Tyra Banks, yes.
Oh my
My
God.
sister
To
liked
me,
that
Willow
movie.
is like
I
your
just remembered
favorite doll
that.
from childhood
Yeah.
come to life. Like, she's just so pretty, and she just feels like a security blanket.
Yeah.
I still remember the first time that I saw her. I had just started watching GCW right after. It was like early 2020. And I think, anyway, it was a collective. It was the collective. I know I was watching For the Culture, and Willow and Faye Jackson were teaming together, and they're both beautiful. They're both talented, but Willow just had this like sparkle to her. And when she showed up at AEW Dark, I was like, oh, hey, good for her. She's here. And then we just kept seeing her. And I'm like, it's seeing this person that just sort of grabbed me like that the first time that I saw her, and seeing what she's become and who she's become. And it's been an amazing journey. It's been one of my favorite things about getting back into wrestling at the age that I am, is watching these people come up and watching people start to forge their legacies. And Willow, she already has such a good legacy, and she's still, so young, and she's still relatively more towards the beginning of her career, I think. I don't think she's quite hit I think this might be her hitting that stride. It's like Act 1, Act 2, Act 3. I think she has hit Act 2 now. She's like just full on. This is...
Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
Hopefully one day they'll make documentaries
Well,
about
and to
her.
flow into that, two more young and upcoming that we had in our per capita list was Bandito versus Fletcher.
Are you guys attracted to Fletcher?
With me, I would say like the attractiveness like quota, at least like my metric for Fletcher, it's how he dresses and how he presents himself. That's actually like honestly really, really pretty to me. And if any of you guys ever get a chance, watch his vlog and stuff like that, because he talks a lot about his choices for certain things. And I love the fact that his favorite color is pink, and he's been continuing that ever since what was it, the first time he was in the Owen or whatever. And and he's kept it ever since. And him being comfortable enough to show more facets of himself, and actually being able to play a little bit fast and loose with his presentation, that is actually really pretty to me.
Oh, I see. That's a good point. Thanks, Steve.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I didn't really... Okay, first of all, when he first showed up with Aussie Open, he still looked like he was about 12 to me. It was the hair. It very much the hair, but also he just had this very boyish face.
Yeah.
I think one of the best things he did is shave his hair, because it makes him look powerful. Like, without that floppy hair, it adds this a little bit of menace to him. And it helps that he has a good head shape. Like, I tried shaving my head once. I have a weird lumpy head and a small forehead, and I was like, okay, it's a good thing that we're all, stuck inside for lockdown, because I don't want anyone to see this until I've got at least a half inch of hair back. But he rocks it. And between that, and he has model proportions when you look at him, the very long legs, wildly long legs, legs for days. And, of course, all the effort that he puts into looking good and showing it off, that confidence very good. He's goofy, which is great. And yeah, again, just him playing around with his presentation, that mix of, the traditionally masculine, like the suits, and taking control over his love of the color pink. I don't know, he was at a Heels meeting a while back. And one of the things that he did, he was talk about like, well, when I was a kid, pink was my favorite color. You get bullied out of it when you're a boy because toxic masculinity. And then him saying like, oh, again, like you said, with the Owen, he was like, well, this is pink. Screw it. Pink is my thing now. And he has owned it.
Yeah. Like I said, definitely watch the vlogs or whatever. It's like, it's always cool to find out like different facets of, different wrestlers. And as menacing as he looks on screen, Kyle Fletcher is a walking intrusive thought.
He seems like one of the more fun Hanks, I would say. Like, not his wrestling character, but like him as a person. He does seem like he'd be a great Hank.
Oh, yeah.
He's goofy. It's cute.
Yeah. He actually used to do Twitch streams or whatever. Because I actually clipped this. I have to find it and put it in the Discord chat. But he was actually pulling AEW cards one time. And he ended up getting a Takeshita card. And he was just reading the back, like, oh, this is lovely. Then he actually started kissing the card on screen.
Yep.
And he mentioned how much viewership actually spiked during that. And he said, "It's like, man, y'all so horny at match."
Yowie make line go up.
Yowie makes line go up. I will say that his body freaks me out. He's taken too many steroids. He has the body of a Greek statue, but it freaks me out.
It's too much definition.
And then Bandito, like, first of all, glorious hair.
Always.
And of course, we can't see his face because of the mask. The glimpse that we got at, when Mox got a little too enthusiastic and the mask was a little too flimsy, that glimpse of like the quarter of his face was gorgeous. And then that body is amazing. And what he can do with that body is amazing. Mm-hmm. That whole match was the definition of how do people move like this?
I know it wasn't on our list, but I do want to note that so I watched the pay-per-view with my dad, and when we got to the Andrade and Mark Davis match, I was trying to explain Tunnel Talk's body contest. He was very confused.
Quick little shout out that wasn't on the show proper, but was very much for me. The trios match in the 0 Hour show with the conglomeration versus was it the Castle Runners, or is that coming up? Or
no,
was that already?
That was earlier. This was, I think that was on Collision.
It was versus the Lethal Twist.
Oh,
that was it.
The Ice Cream Boys.
Yeah.
Yes, the Ice Cream Boys. Those two, they're cute, but they're much too young for me. Jay Lethal doesn't really do it for me. Yeah. But, well, it's not just, reputation. His face reminds me of a friend of mine from high school. That's just, it looks too much like that for me to be attracted to that, particular set of shapes. But the conglomeration are all very much for me.
I will say, okay, this recording's going to go way too long, but you know what? Fuck it. We ball. I was showing people who had never watched wrestling because I'm running a wrestling tabletop RPG for them, and I'm the only wrestling fan. We were watching the Collision match, and it was the conglomeration. And basically, one person said that they're like, the hottest person here was Roderick Strong. I see this. Then their fiance, he said, oh, it has to be Orange Cassidy. And we were like, what? And he was like, that's a real man. That's a man with job experience.
He is, though. He does have job experience.
And apparently my friend's fiance could just psychically tell and be like, that's what's sexy about a man, employment history. And I'm like, what a wonderful world we live in with such variety of taste.
I do find him incredibly attractive, but also he is a week younger than me and he moves like that. And how? But yeah, between Orange, I love Kyle O'Reilly so much. He's my precious baby seal. And Roddy is incredibly good looking. And I got to see Marina, and Kyle walked by me while exiting the last show they did in Denver, or second to last show they did in Denver.
Oh, cool.
Something. And again, so attractive in person. All of them so attractive in person. And like the little mustache doesn't really work for me. But at the same time, it does work well with his face.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, that makes sense.
I don't know.
It's one of those things that'd be weird without, but if the way we know him now, and then you think about removing that, it's like, that wouldn't feel right. It's like the inverse of how we felt when we first saw it happen.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm used to it now. But yeah, shout out to them on
During
my behalf.
Tunnel Talks
because
Body's nomination, I nominated Kyle Fletcher, saying his body looked like he would take me to a county fair and make me feel safe on a Ferris wheel. Kyle O'Reilly, yes. Oh my God.
You mean Kyle O'Reilly?
No.
Kyle,
that was you.
Make you feel safe on a Ferris wheel.
So I was tipsy when I filled out that form, but I'm pretty sure that Matt Jackson looks like a sea creature was mine. And I did nominate Cash Wheeler. Sorry, not sorry. I don't care for him, but also at the same time, he's incredibly aesthetically attractive to me. It's the butt.
I got something to say. I got something to say.
Okay, Juan.
Of all times.
Yeah. I just wanted to say that I think that, I think someone said earlier, I think it was Lauren, that you can find beauty in anybody. And I gotta say, the roundness of Don Callis' head, it's incredible. And that's all I gotta say about that.
Again, he has a good head shape for being bald.
He does.
It looks like an eraser that just, like, you know how most erasers have that weird, like, rounded edge or whatever?
Oh, I think I get what you mean.
Right, his head is just, like, the perfect, like, worn down along the edge where it just comes together, like, in a point that's not obvious. So, yeah, he's literally an eraser.
I did say about Don Callis once that he looked like someone you'd have a really nice weekend with, and then on Monday he'd steal your car.
Yeah. I can definitely see that.
That is strangely specific.
And not wrong.
No.
Oh, not at all. I was just commenting about the specificity.
There's some things, and there's some wrestlers who have such a specific, well, people in general, but we're talking about wrestlers who have that sort of very specific, like, this looks like they would do this one activity, or they look like this one particular emotion, or things like that. And yeah, Don Callis would show you a good weekend and then steal your car and use your credit card and pretend not to know you afterwards.
Yep.
So moving on to our positive peak moments. The Bucks are brothers and they love each other.
They were also a sexy match for me.
They just love each other so much. I have a big brother who I'm very close with. The idea of him getting hurt is just like so unthinkable. Like watching it, like I could really feel like, oh my God, I could not wrestle with my sibling. It would be too upsetting for me to see my sibling get hurt, and I think vice versa. I don't think I could wrestle at all, but especially, with that. But just the idea of, I'm going to grow up and I'm going to wrestle with my big brother, and we're going to be the first tag team that never ever splits up. And we'll always have each other's back because we're brothers and we love each other.
Seeing, Matt just be that worried about Nick, and, a lot of us were worried about Nick, but we'll probably talk about that later. But the fact of Matt literally trying to wrestle the match on his own, the whole, he would rather do the 2-on-1 match if it meant not bringing Nick back in. It's like, see, this is why when people, joke, it's like, oh yeah, Nick needs to go for the title on his own. It's like, no, it's a hidden clause with the Bucks. They have a do not separate order. Why would you do that?
This is a bonded pair.
Exactly.
No, I love, first of all, again, I think they're both very attractive, but I love the way they move. I love their synchronicity. Because again, they've been doing this since they were children. and they know each other, and it's incredible to watch. And then you add the emotional stakes, and it's catnip to me. Like, again, like you mentioned, Matt basically being willing to wrestle the whole thing on his own rather than let Nick get hurt. And it's, for me, I love angst. I love angst and drama. And that was, again, I was too distracted earlier on to fully enjoy it. So I'm going to have to watch the match again for reasons that we'll be talking about shortly. But
yeah,
them
it's the
working
AO3
together,
match.
Yes, it is. Well, I have a theory. I have a theory that there is an official AEW fanfic prompt for every show, because it really seems like there is one segment, at least one, every show where it's like, this feels like they're just prompting us.
And people
But
fall
anyway,
for it.
yeah.
It's me, I'm people.
Yes, that just that emotion that they brought to it. This is one of the reasons I love them. They're so good at that. And they love each other so much that they will do anything to keep the other one from getting hurt. And then just feelings. And then plus you add in the sadisticness of Mox and the drama of Ospreay trying to figure out if he wants to do a murder or not. And
well, to your point about brothers,
again, I loved that match.
The angst of that. I never need to see a Bucks versus FTR match again, but I could watch Bucks versus the Lucha Bros
Agreed.
every week for the rest of my life. Because, and I know, Jane, you probably haven't seen any of their matches. You have to go back and rewatch, because they're both sets of brothers, and their trust within their brothers, and then their trust between the four of them. And the story that they can tell being brothers versus brothers is just a work of art.
Yeah, you have the older brothers trying to basically wrangle and control and protect the younger brothers. And at the same time, again, because I love when people who are friends wrestle, because they do the wildest things. And the Lucha Brothers versus Bucks match always just go just fully beyond what you would think they would do, and then runs even further with that.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Sorry to cut you off, because I literally just remembered
All
this.
I had to say was it's amazing.
Oh, no, because I know there's a Bucks versus Lucha Brothers PWG match. Oh, like, I think that was one of the first times that they actually like wrestled together. I need to find that, because that is one match I have actually been trying to get people to, it's like, hey, are you kind of okay on the concept of wrestling? Well, you need to watch this. Just trust me, you will have fun.
I'm still so upset. Okay, there has been one AEW show in Denver that I was not able to see. It was at the very end of December. It was snowing catastrophically, I would say. And we had just moved here. It was my first winter here. I did not know how to drive in snow. And the weather was making my back just intolerable. So I was not able to go. And it was when we had the Death Triangle versus Elite. It was the best of 7. And they did the ladder match that night. And I was so upset watching it from home. It was amazing, but I was so sad that I wasn't there. I had a ticket and I couldn't go.
Oh, jeez. That sucks.
And now I'll never see them again unless Lucha Brothers come back.
They'll be back. Another sweet moment talking about luchadors was Bandito and the kids giving him a pep talk to keep going.
That was so cute. The children love Bandito so much. And so do I, but yes, children love Bandito, and Bandito loves the kids. It's very sweet.
It's so adorable.
Luchadors are basically superheroes. I mean, it's natural. And then add to the fact that one of the things that I love about wrestling as a medium is that it has this kind of very, Tinkerbell in the original production of Peter Pan, clap if you believe element, where you can give wrestlers power ups. That was one of the things that I loved about face Danny Garcia, whenever he would reach out to the crowd and gain strength from that. And those kids, pouring all their love and energy toward Bandito. And again, I think, I know me, at least some of you have to have also done it, just started yelling, "Never stop fighting Bandito" at that moment.
And I wouldn't say that specific thing, but yeah, just when you just see luchadors reaching out to the audience to draw strength from them, that's always the coolest thing to me, because it's almost like you forget that you're an adult and you start cheering just as hard as the little kids do, and that's awesome.
I would be hard pressed not to say this, but our own Lauren actually is on a show about a luchador superhero, and I'm gonna give her this little space to say that. So, Lauren, go ahead.
Okay, I'll do this really quickly. There is a cartoon called Rey Mysterio versus the Darkness. It was originally released in Cartoon Network Latin America and HBO Latin America. It is finally currently getting its English dub release via YouTube. I am in the show. Not in this current episode. I think I'm in the next episode, though. You can hear me as a couple of mothers and grandmothers and audience members doing my best "You Can't Wrestle"
That's really cool.
and such like. It's not AEW, but it is a
Aw.
wrestling thing, and I
Very
did
cool.
cry when I got the email announcing that I was cast.
Man, that's awesome.
I'm very happy, very excited.
Well, it's
Thank
hard
you.
to top that,
Yes.
but and moving on to another child moment is when Tony Schiavone was judging a child in the audience, and Excalibur says that he's a future AEW sicko.
Yes,
That
was
so
great.
The kid wanting to set the table on fire, and they're like, "What
Yes.
kind of sick kid? Future sicko." It's like, yeah, this is the kid who goes to AEW matches. They want to see tables on fire.
You know, hey
Right,
man,
you
I
can't
just
pull
like
the
to
moral
tell
high
everyone, if
card
you want
now.
to see a table set on fire, bring a lighter, and that kid took it as a lesson from his teacher.
I also, we're talking about commentary, want to shout out Taz at a moment where he's like, hockey isn't even the national sport of Canada. That's because it's lacrosse, and he knows that because he's so proud of his
little boy
babyface son, lacrosse player Tyler. It's like, yeah. Yeah, you would bring up lacrosse facts.
A commentary moment was when Nigel said, perhaps Matt and Nick can get back into full gear, and under his breath, Excalibur said, that's in November.
I love whenever we get those hints of AEW Dark Taz and Excalibur again. Whenever they just get a little sassy and
when
weird.
Excalibur's gonna say something really quietly under his breath, it's gonna be good. Okay. Biggest dick moments, derogatory. For me, I know this was part of the storyline, but Ospreay hitting Nick in the head like 4 times was really upsetting.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
I would not be upset if they did left head trauma, especially like Bandito and Fletcher also had a headbutt moment, and I'm like, I'm sure you guys are being as safe as you can, but it also freaks me out.
I mentioned before we started recording that every time a wrestler starts selling head trauma, I flash back, like literally I'm back there watching in my living room feeling sick to my stomach, Sammy Guevara versus Matt Hardy, and that dive off of the forklift, and Matt Hardy hitting his head and then keep trying to continue. It makes me so worried. And while I was watching, I had an edible because my back and neck were hurting, and I also wanted to have a good time. So usually when I'm high, I'm very aware of acting. It's why I love watching Hereditary while I'm high, because I can appreciate the nuances. And but anyway, yeah, my 2 favorite movies to watch while high are The Greatest Showman and Hereditary. Anyway. And because of that panic, I was thinking, oh my God, this is real. This is real. I didn't see anything fake about this. He looks really upset. And thankfully, like when he showed up again in the ring and shook his head, I'm like, oh, thank God, that's fake as hell. Thank God. I just got worked. But I couldn't enjoy the first part of the match because of that.
Yeah, same. Because, finding out that, Nick just literally just worked us is just me. Oh, I like when they had that initial collision in the ring. I immediately winced. It's like, I've been in concussion protocol. I've hit my head like quite a few times. It's like that looked like it hurt. But then when you saw like Nick staggering around, it's like, okay, all right, no, I'm starting to get like a really like strange, like weird feeling about this. And then as the match continued, it's like, okay, all right, Nick Lee Jackson, you emotional terrorist, you did a great job. I want to fight you, but you did an
Yeah, I had the
amazing
same
job.
reaction. I thought it was a shoot at first until commentary kept talking about it. And they didn't move the camera away from him. And then, Doc Samson didn't come to check on him. So I was pretty sure it was, about halfway in you realize it's part of the storyline of Will, which we're going to get to in a second, of, having a crisis of conscience. And, how far is he willing to take it? But that first few minutes where you're not sure what's going on, was hard to watch.
I figured it was a work, but I also was like, I don't think this is necessarily.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would be really happy if we didn't do the like head trauma. It's kind of like, how Bryan Danielson used to love selling fake seizures. I'd really like it. Maybe we could not do that.
Yeah, just no more selling from the Danielson school of trolling people, please.
Like, I appreciate a good troll, but at the same time, I've also seen a lot of scans of like what a brain with CTE looks like.
Yeah. It's
so.
No, stop.
Part of that was also our other biggest dick derogatory nominee was Mox making Will's crisis of conscience about Mox.
I wrote down during my live skeet, Mox, you are acting like a stage mom. Like, I just kept picturing him in Dance Moms, like when he was yelling at Ospreay, because he's, the fully like, you wanted this and you blah, blah, blah. It is very stage mom. This is really about me.
Right. Yeah, because it really did look like Ospreay was the child that they pushed into doing a big public recital, and the kid's choking, and Mox is like, "What are you doing? What are you doing? You're making me look bad. You're not doing murder like I taught you."
Yeah. Like when he was yelling at him afterwards and Renee was there, all I could think was that Renee is like, you are not allowed to give this pep talk to any team our daughter is ever on.
I'm just going to make this my general, just to help streamline it, just going to make this my, streamline my many, many, many complaints about Mox section. I really hated the way he did it because it felt like it made Ospreay's stuff more about him than it did Ospreay. Both in kayfabe, but also as an audience member, it feels like Mox is kind of more of a bigger part of the storyline than Ospreay is, which is not great. Is really fucked up. And then just in general, oh god, when they brought out the plastic bag, I groaned. I'm like, can't Ospreay have anything about himself and not this many, 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 many pages of Mox's own lore? I thought that was a dick move, both in and out of kayfabe. I also think Mox has made this plotline of redemption that Mox is always right. Because they lose the match against the Young Bucks, which perhaps if Will actually just fucking pinned Nick Jackson instead of medium ground of going for the head and doing nothing, perhaps they would have won that one. Or you could argue that with Kenny one-winged angel of him, Mox perhaps was right that you gotta kill Kenny Omega outside of the ring, no contest. I'm like, how do you make a show titled Redemption be about you and the fact that no one can ever change and you're still a violent cult leader despite all that Hangman did, and that making the entire storyline about yourself? Mox, you complete phenomenal asshole. I know people have a lot of criticisms of MJF that I'm sure are very real. I'm not trying to defend MJF. I just because I only started watching last year, I missed all of it. And MJF is not my favorite wrestler, but at least he's off screen. Like, he's not constantly on my screen. Mox is constantly on his screen, and he's constantly making other storylines, like Takeshita and Okada and the Continental Championship, or Will Ospreay winning the men's world title scene, all about himself, and it's a dick move, and I am tired of it. Someone tell him this sucks.
See, I love it for all of the exact same reasons you hate it. He's just my horrible little cult leader.
Mind that he's the horrible little cult leader, but narratives need to have consequences, goddammit, and the consequence can't be I'm always cool and I always win and I'm always right. And we should head trauma the elite.
So I am actually like in the middle I'm gonna finish writing it. Once we're done, I'm in the middle of a thing for AEW Story Beat for Pro Wrestling Musings about specifically Kenny, but touching on all of this stuff. And part of the thing, first of all, again, like I said, I love angst, I love drama. Something like that happens and I'm like, oh, I can't wait to see the fallout. And yes, it is an asshole. Mox is being a gigantic asshole. This past year, the crowd has largely forgotten that Mox is a gigantic asshole. And this is the moment where they're bringing that back. And Kenny, at the same time, for all that he's been like, oh, I want to do things right this time because he was just this horrible egotist as a champion. At the same time, the cleaner is back. Like that match versus Kevin, he was flaying him. He didn't ever let Kevin get his legs under him, which again, because Kevin is a high flyer, is his advantage. And so Kenny being a dick there, screaming, you'll never be me. You'll never beat me. He's playing it like a heel. And I feel like the thesis of this kind of has been, can people change? And it's sort of like with Hangman, like now he always has that dark side that it's going to be close to the surface. Swerve is evil, but he's always going to have that little bit of humanity to him. Mox, again, he makes some good points, but he is still a cult leader. Ospreay, he's trying so hard to be hard. And at the same time, the character that he's been at AEW is, precious baby boy golden retriever. And I was thinking going into this is him remembering who he was in New Japan. I was wrong. This is him remembering I like being precious baby boy golden retriever. But then again, what is he taking away from it? What is he taking away from it is my big thing with it. And Mox is going to get his comeuppance.
No, he's not.
Eventually he will.
He will not.
I will agree he should have gotten it in December. They should have bid on that storyline, but then the Continental Classic happened and people were high on him again.
We don't.
I do think that was a mistake.
I think that was a mistake, and I think
Yuta should have murdered him.
Yuta should have murdered him. Will Ospreay should have never been. Why is he big brothering Will Ospreay before he wins the big title? Why is All In again about Jon Moxley?
I don't understand. But the worst part about it is, in like the Trish and Sarah channel, I called this as soon as was it the whole thing with was it Mox and Ospreay started talking? I called it. It's like, because both of them are DC nerds, this is literally like Batman Begins, except with, Will being Bruce and Mox being Ra's al Ghul. And now that I remember, Ra's al Ghul was never that annoying. I mean, he had his moments, but never that annoying.
He was not that big part. He was not on screen as much as Jon Moxley is on the screen.
No, that is very true.
See? That's
but
points for
seriously,
him already.
Does that make Marina Talia al Ghul?
She'd
because
Talia al Ghul.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She'd be great.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
But yeah, the point is, that's the weird thing about, why Mox is like trying to upstage everything, because all of this was supposedly, Will trying to get back to, hit the version of who he was in New Japan, the Commonwealth Kingpin, which, if you if you're able to, watch old New Japan, do that, because that's how I think most people were introduced to him at AEW. But yeah, it's like you had that, you were right on that line, and then boom, pause on the bed, Osprey all
Yep.
over again.
Yeah, remember he came in with the Don Callis family.
No, that was later, because he was still United Empire.
Yeah. But when he came into AEW proper, he was still part of the Don Callis family at that time.
My point was Jon Moxley making Will everything about himself was my personal big dick moment, and then we can continue on to the other.
Like I said,
no, we agree.
I know.
Yeah, we agree. It's just that I like it that way.
I rewatched.
I'm down here in the garbage.
Yesterday, after I finished the pay-per-view, I rewatched the Double or Nothing match with Hangman and Ospreay, and then I rewatched the Yell-In match with Hanger and Mox, and it really struck me that redoing that entire storyline, basically just with the same people, it makes no sense with how they finished the storyline last year. I think they would have. This would thematically make more sense if the Death Riders had broken up. If Mox was a cult leader without a cult and barnacled himself to Ospreay, I think it would make way more sense for Ospreay to have been taken in by Mox. Otherwise,
I can see that.
What the
Yeah.
fuck is
You're so right.
Ospreay doing, hanging out with the guys that broke his neck, and then being surprised that they want him to kill somebody?
Yeah.
I think Tunnel Talk had a good analysis of it in that Ospreay was left unsupervised, and his character is all about, like, he is adrift. He doesn't have the United Empire with him. His friends were out injured, and so cult leaders swoop in on you. Cult leaders swoop in on you when you're
right.
That doesn't make me want him to see him win the world title, though. Like, it makes him stupid.
I still don't think he's winning at Wembley. I really don't.
You think there's no way he's not winning at Wembley?
I'm pretty sure he's not winning at Wembley.
I'd love it if he didn't. I'd love that.
Yeah,
I mean, I've been wrong before. I've been wrong plenty of times before.
I think Mox and the Death Riders have been put into this storyline so that we think there's a possibility that Ospreay's not winning. That's the only way that they're trying to build a little bit of a red herring. Because otherwise, everybody thought Ospreay's winning at All In before he even came back from his neck surgery, right? We've assumed this for like the last 10 months. So I think they're trying to put a red herring in so that there's a little bit of doubt. But it just thematically completely undermines the storyline that they finished last year.
Yeah.
Jon Moxley's unwillingness to lose and look uncool ruins both his and everyone else's around him storyline. I'm so sorry for cutting you off.
Maybe this is just part of a poorly written storyline. All respect to you, Lauren, that you like it. I respect that. I
recognize that I am in a minority here.
Behind everything he's put out there up until like Redemption, because it's no longer. It's getting to the point that it's not supportable, even for me. But it looks, from someone that's watched from 2019 to today, it appears like the man John Good saw what happened when Phil Brooks came in and almost ran the company and took a bunch of people's spots away from them. And when that guy left, he said, you know what? No one's ever taking my spot. I'm going to go to the school of Chris Jericho. That doesn't work for me, brother. University. And he knows how to put himself in the main event in a way that's going to keep him on the top. And he's not playing around anymore with people. That's how it comes across. And I don't know if that's true, but that's what it looks like.
It is.
I mean, story-wise, that would have been great. because I think that's what they were initially leaning into, like with the Death Riders, but Lord knows what's even going on now. And the worst part about it is I can kind of sort of justify how like that, this current mess of a storyline is going, but I shouldn't have to like knit threads of threads together to justify it, because it should be able to be seen clearly on screen without us like scheming and theorizing like on Blue Sky or whatever.
Can I just say this is exactly the discussion that my spouse and I had after Redemption? Like, my spouse doesn't watch really, but because, I'm there in the living room at least twice a week yelling and then babbling online, my spouse picks up some things. And that's one of the things that they were saying was that this feels like it's overstayed its welcome. I think the fact that I have time blindness, like everything to me feels like it just happened. I think that's one of the reasons it doesn't really bother me that much, because to me, it all feels like, to me, stuff from like 2020 still feels fresh in terms of story. Like the Dark Order was just here in my brain. And the fact that people who seem to have a more usual ability to be aware of time, this is a complaint that I have been hearing from them. So again, my answer is I like garbage. I can't tell time. Oh, I didn't know if we were moving off of biggest dick move yet, because I have one that I just thought of while we were talking, and it's short. It's short.
What's it not?
No sing-alongs.
Oh.
Wait, the only one was the Jungle Boy one. The only one was the Jungle Boy one. Now that I think about it.
Yeah, because
but the rest
Cope
of them, no Ospreay, no Cope. When we thought we might be getting it after Cope, after that, then the Bucks came out. No also, Judas.
Right. Well,
so Jungle Boys was the only sing-along moment, and that was during the pre-show.
Oh, that is right. Yeah, because mostly everybody thought we were going to get Judas with Painmaker, but with Painmaker, he always has different songs, and I think it was Judas Priest, I don't know.
It sounded like to me, but I didn't know.
Weird. But yeah, you're right. That was the only sing-along.
It was very funny to me when I realized that what was happening. Again, like I said, I'm a terrible person. When I think of people getting mad about stuff like that, like I know somebody's going to get mad about that, so it made me laugh. I've made people watch the Star Wars Holiday Special so I can watch their hopes and dreams die. Like I said, I'm a bad person.
So our biggest dick complimentary moments. My favorite was Matt Jackson's "Oh well" face after super kicking Marina.
Let Marina fight, man. She's not afraid of taking bumps. None of us think like, oh wow, this guy is such an asshole for hitting a woman. Like, guys,
it's so weird that like that happened, and my first thought was feminism. But it's being treated like an equal in a company where fighting is how you express every emotion.
Right.
And again, that little oh well face, I love the Bucks because they are my horribly behaved little gremlin princesses. And yes, they're sort of good guys right now, but that little oh well, and then at the end when they were talking to Kenny after Kenny attacked Will, and Kenny was like, yeah, I'm sure. And they were like, all right. And then just kind of did their pose with a what you gonna do expression on their faces. Like Kenny might have called them like horribly behaved little shih tzus, but he loves that.
They're his horribly behaved shih tzu. That would also work for a big dick moment. It's like they see him for no reason attack Ospreay, and then he's like, come on, let's do our little pose. And they're like, well, what are we going to do? Not pose with them?
Exactly.
Right.
It was so funny.
It's like, oh, it's fine. All right, we're going to hit our poses now. Kenny says it's fine.
Kenny says we're allowed. But yeah, they're just such good gremlins. They really are. They just like to cause trouble. They like to run around. They like to make people angry. It's why I love them.
Do you want to talk about Jay and Finley?
Yes. that was actually funny. Horrible lengths of chain notwithstanding, they actually made that mess work. Where Jay just saw where, oh, what does this do? And they're just yanked up like right between the uprights, and just poor Finley. It's like I was like cringing too, but just seeing Jay just having the time of his life is like, you know what? He hasn't been on TV for like over 450 days. He's allowed to, just be a little bit sadistic and a little bit weird with it. Good for you. Good for you.
Talking about my time blindness, I thought he was gone for 3 years. I really did. I told my spouse, he's back for the first time in 3 years. And then immediately after commentary, he's like, it's been 400 whatever days.
Like 6
Scott's
months.
like, you're wrong.
Nah,
It's so nice to
like
see him back and enjoying himself, though.
Yeah, like 480 days or something like that. But yeah, seeing him like so happy, and you see it like reflected in his gear, which is honestly really, really cool. Because if you see like Switchblade's old gear, he has like very like form fitting tights, and it looks like patchwork and everything. So now he's come back. It's you still have like the tally marks, but everything is whole. He feels like he can breathe. So it's looser. I get people don't like that, but Jay is a very like strange yet particular person when it comes to like storytelling. So he's almost like Hangman in that sense. He will do like subtle things for people who like absolutely love him. They'll be like, oh, okay, that's cool. It's subtle. Other people's like, oh, I don't like it. It's like, maybe it ain't for you. But yeah, I like my terrible wet ferret of a man being back on TV.
I saw somebody say that match was like, it was like one person on each team had appropriately fitting pants and the other person did not. And I thought that was very funny. But no, that match, there was joy there. Even if it wasn't the best match, there was, again, I was just happy to see Jay back at a pay-per-view, and I was happy to get him and Finley interacting because, again, I love the drama.
He got to torment him in the clothes that he wears while he does gardening. That's amazing.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we also have another award nominee. The Rick Knox Doofus Referee Award goes to Paul Turner's multiple slow counts in the Bandito and Fletcher match.
Yeah, he was out of position like way too many times, but even when he was, it's like, why are you counting so slow? Like, we could have at least is the way he was counting, it was almost to a 7 count. It's like, why are you
and he's
pulling the
usually
count
like one of my
that?
favorite refs, but he was just really slow in that one.
Yeah, well, he's no Rick Knox.
Our next category is are you fucking kidding me? Low moments. We've already discussed the Death Rider's plastic bag. Anything else on that?
I just want to reiterate that the fact that Will couldn't fully tear the bag is just such a perfect metaphor for how, in my opinion, poor the storyline has been.
I started screeching in delight when I saw the bag again.
Yeah, that didn't completely make sense, because if he wasn't willing to smash his head in the chair, why did Mox think he'd be willing to murder him with the plastic bag?
Because he'd given him a pep talk earlier.
Yeah, he's one of those, like, he almost feels like one of those gifted and talented teachers. It's like, you know what? I see that you're a visual learner. Here, you do this. It's like, so what? The chair setup wasn't good? It's like, no, we can do better. This is more hands-on. You could see the light in his eyes die when you put the bag over his head. It's like, what is wrong with you? What is
Mox
wrong with you?
trying to think up a nursery rhyme to get Will to do murder.
He'd probably do it too.
He's practicing at home with his kid, see if it works there first.
Our other nominee for this category was Mick Foley's barking.
Oh boy. Terrible moment that again made me happy imagining how angry it was making people. But it was bad. It was bad.
It was like, it was cringy or whatever. So I read that some people are saying that it's possible that he misheard them, would like bow down, but how you
I think
get
he
Bow
said he
Wow out of
did.
that.
It was
Yeah,
pre-date. Like they could
yeah,
have just done another tape.
What
and
I'm
it was
guessing
just
is that
cringe.
they did that. Somebody thought it was funny, so they left it in.
yeah. But the fact that they just like let the camera just chill there that long, it went from cringe to like a really bad like Curb Your Enthusiasm cutaway joke. It's just like all right, this is getting physically painful. Go back to the ring. Go back to the ring. Oh, thank God.
Yeah, I'm there. I'm like, first, okay, my thoughts were as follows. Mick sitting down between two large women. He is living my dream. Mick is barking between two women. He is living my dream. But also, what? Oh, people are going to hate this. This is great. Oh no, this is going on for way too long. This is awful.
I know everybody loves him. I know everybody's
That's
excited
it.
to see him. He makes me very nervous. I hate to even say it because I know everybody's excited and people will say I'm being negative, but I really worry his head is way too still back in the Attitude Era, and what he thinks an audience wants to see and hear is not what an AEW audience wants to see and hear. I mean, his first indication that should have been when he got booed out of the building for mentioning The Rock's name, and he clearly thought he was going to get cheered. I don't know. He just makes me very nervous. Yeah.
I am giving him a grace period of 6 months to adjust. It took a while for a bunch of ex-WW people. The thing that I always think of is it took a while for Mercedes to kind of feel like she was at home. There's always an adjustment period. It was a bit, okay. When we used to get people from WWE at the very beginning of AEW, it was this feeling of like joy and people stretching. And then it was this, I better than you because I have this experience. And with Mick, I think it's just people love this when I talk about it elsewhere. People will love it when I talk about it here. I think he needs the time to adjust to, the culture, the audience, all of that. I'm giving him 6 months.
Yeah, and the E is literally
No.
as everything that it's all that he's known. Sorry to cut you off, but yeah, that's literally all he's known in regard to like the landscape of professional wrestling, because for the longest time when wrestling was mentioned in America, it was always WWF/WWE. So
Yeah.
discovering that
And
there's
yeah,
another thing.
he was in Japan, he was in WCW, but at the same time, I feel like, again, the time that made him in a lot of people's eyes was, Hell in the Cell, WWE, everything that he's done for the company since then. So
To Jane's point,
yeah, it's like learning a new language, I think.
I'm gonna say this as a Mick Foley supporter. This is not something that he's ever done, not even in TNA. So it was very weird for him to do this. It was just very weird, out of character, and also just gross. Just wanted to say that.
I
This,
I genuinely think this might have been Divine Dominion's idea. I think they're trying to go for a sexy dominatrix kind of thing. And that would work with their very stupid, the bow down intro they have with their intro. But I think it's important to note that
I missed when it was just the music.
it was better when it was just the music. Look, a lot of wrestlers have some dumb fucking ideas, and it's the job of everyone around them to say, hey, maybe not.
Maybe not.
Look, I am in favor of tall, beautiful dominatrix wrestlers, but I do think also that the title needs to change soon.
I think
they need to
two things
switch
to
things
say
up a little.
to Jane's points, because I think that they're both valid. I think it would have worked if he had literally been forced to bow down, because that's a heel move, right? You're like, you're making a man that doesn't feel good, he's in a lot of pain, someone that people respect, you're making him having dominion over him, right? I can see how that would be a heel thing, get heel heat. But obviously he misunderstood. And I'm afraid that where he is a legend, no one's going to correct him and say, hey, I really think you need to try it this way. Because of all the stupid hierarchical bullshit that comes with wrestling. I don't know. There needs to be someone back there that's willing to stand up and say, we need to do that again because that sucked.
Yeah, they really should just have a person like specifically hired to, the AEW just like, hey, no, and just leave it at that. Just no other explanation. It's just like, hey, I got a great idea for a gimmick. No. Then just
So,
walk
to that
off.
point, we're moving to holy shit moments, or in other words, times we screamed and scared the cats. One of those would be Commander's jump across
I like
the
that.
ring during the ladder match.
So fucked up that he can do that.
Again, how can the human body do things like this?
No clue,
That
but
whole-
I'm glad we're around to witness it.
Yes, very much so. That whole match, I was screaming. I was like, I physically had to move around after that match. It got me so hyped. Everyone was just amazing. They were just pulling out all the stops. It was an incredible start to the show. Again, you have all of these high flyers doing just the wildest things. And that, again, how Commander is like a flea. His legs are just so powerful and he jumps so far and it feels like he hovers in the air sometimes. And that jump was that one. And there was, I think it was, okay, there was 2 moments at the end of the match that I was screaming. I know one was between Jack Perry and Nick Wayne, and the other, I think, was Commander and Mortos, I think. And it was just like, you are doing the wildest things, and I don't know how you're going to be able to walk tomorrow.
Yeah, I told my dad I was glad we did not see that match live because it would have made me nauseous. Just watching them do all that crazy things with ladders, it makes me physically sick with worry. So I was perfectly happy watching it from the comfort of my living room because that was a bonkers match.
It really was.
Say another moment, at least for me, it was a holy shit, was with the Chris Jericho Painmaker versus Ciampa, where they got the doll of Yuppie. It was so fucking stupid, but then the way that he took it so seriously and the way the audience took it so seriously, I was like, holy shit. So funny to me.
Jericho's prop comedy works on me, and I hate that. And them bringing out Yuppie, first of all, on the heels of the actual mascot showing up at Mystery Wrestling the day before. So that was already fresh in my mind. And then here we see Ciampa do, like, just again, fully take it seriously and try to kill this tiny little doll. Ciampa is such a fun mix of absolutely brutal and silly little guy. And it really, really works for this type of match. And yeah, everything with that was just like, okay, this is so dumb, but I'm loving it.
The fact he pulled out the Boston Bruins jersey, that was the biggest reaction of the night, which that was the correct answer, because anytime you see a Boston Bruins jersey, it is your God-given right to boo the garbage out of it.
Didn't Christian wear one? I know there was that fight that he had with Cope, and Cope wore okay, I thought so. Yeah,
he made him put the Bruins sweater on while Cope was wearing the Maple Leafs one. So, yeah.
Okay, and another was Maya won the TBS championship.
I was not expecting this.
Neither was I.
I threw my arms up in the air and shrieked. And yes, scared my cats. I don't think her reign's going to last long, but I'm so happy for her. I love everything that she's been doing. she's, again, somebody at the beginning of her career who is excelling at taking every opportunity offered to her. And it felt like magic. It felt like if I was a kid and I had been watching this, I would have started crying.
I prefer it when there's a split between like the world title holder and the TV title holder, especially in the women's division, because I think it gives more challengers and gives more people like things to do. But I'm never going to say no to seeing Maya World happy. She deserves the world.
Well, and it feels
Agreed.
like, you know, the
1000%.
earlier days of AEW when you're watching the veterans build up the newer, fresh talent. And, you know, my dad had made the mention that, well, she's not on the same level as Sheeta and Mercedes, but they're giving her the opportunity to learn that leveling up, right? And we really haven't got a lot of that lately in the last 3 or 4 years. So that's been fun to watch for her and see how many of the women were willing to step up for her. She had Sheeta, Mercedes, and Athena. Yeah, really, really go to bat for her, and she stepped
Athena.
up. And I think Amanada as well, right? She's really stepped up and taken all those opportunities that she's been given, which is just really nice to see.
I'd love to see her and Persephone trade off the title a little bit. They're just such two young, fun talents.
Yes. She's been somebody that I wanted to root for since the first time I saw her. And I know there's been so much discourse lately, and by lately I mean since the bell, you know, rang that she won. Oh, she's not ready for this, blah, blah, blah. But okay, this is part of the complaint that I have with the women's booking. In order to make somebody think that a thing is a big deal, you have to treat it like a big deal. And this is effectively telling Maya, we believe in you and we believe in the promise that you bring, I think.
Yes.
Even if it doesn't last long, the people that she's worked with, this event has brought her into the public eye so much. And it'll keep eyes on her, I think. And then she is, by, you know, also trying to bring Hyan up with her because they came in together. They've been tagging for so long. And I love Hyan. I love them both. I would love to see them as the tag champions one day.
So speaking
like
of Maya, our last category is who understood the assignment. And we agree that Sheeta was really great about that after the post show and after the match. Does anyone want to speak on that?
Sheeta's crash outs are just enjoyable, man. Ever since she came back as a heel, just her just absolutely losing it, hitting any and everything that comes within range of her kendo stick. It's like, yes, more crash outs, please. I enjoy this.
Sheeta's character work has just been so good since coming back.
Mm-hmm. She's been such an excellent kind of shitty little coward and blowhard and somebody that you want to see somebody beat her. What I really hope is that where we go from here is she starts a girl gang, because this is showing you need people around you. And I would be excited to see who we get in that girl gang. But firstly, just again, back to Sheeta, staying with Sheeta. She's always had charisma. She's always had, you know, presence. And of course, in the ring, she's fantastic. And then her crashing out, she puts everything into that. The security guards, by the way, hello, London Lightning, dragging her away was, again, it is an anime villain level of crash out, which is what I love. She seems to, I remember when it looked like she was going to start turning heel before all the visa problems and everything. She was really playing up this whole like Yakuza thing. And here, she's not so much playing into that, but she's playing into, I think, kind of more like a delinquent feel. Yeah, help me out here. I'm not like I like manga and stuff, but I'm not as familiar with a lot of like
this
stuff
I
as
kind of know.
would like. Yes, please.
I kind of know because Shida also does game streaming, and one of her favorite game series is the Yakuza series. So I think later on in the Discord I'll pull up a GIF of the person that she dresses as is Goro Majima. Majima usually has like a eye patch and always ends up like inadvertently tormenting the main character Kiryu in in different situations. But yeah, Majima is like just a brawler Yakuza type that's just like ridiculously charismatic, and I think she's dressed as a Majima a couple times. So yeah, I think she was
Everything
leaning
I
for
know
that.
about him, one of these days I will play those games, but everything I know about him, I know through /fan art. So
That's fair.
And I mean, it's good fan art, so.
Still, but you know of him.
Jane, do you want to talk about your special little guy, Yuta?
I do want to talk about my special little guy, Yuta. After so long with so few crumbs of my precious, terrible little boy, Wheeler Yuta, I feel like the last time we've really got to see him do like his very good character beats was with the stat storyline and some of the stuff with Orange Cassidy and Blood and Guts. And look, I love Wheeler Yuta. Yes, I find him really hot. Yes, I find him really pathetic. But also, he's one of the few wrestlers who I do genuinely believe understands narrative and story structure. So when he played the I'm gonna hold back Will, but instead of doing it with like the whole like reaching out, I'm gonna be like nice and comforting and just be like, yeah, go ahead. This is a normal thing to do. I'm like, Wheeler Yuta, the man that you are given such few crumbs to work with and very little chance to actually advance ever up in the card. And I don't understand why, when you got the most nuclear heat in the company with your shitty fucking hair, they didn't give you like a 2-week title reign where you could have been taking advantage of that. But I appreciate so much your ability to connect the storylines and care about your character and connect with the audience. And I thought even the 5 seconds that he had in this role, I was like, there he goes. There goes my beautiful special princess who's done everything wrong ever in his life.
I screamed in happiness when that happened. Him holding Will, I screamed, and then he did the little okay, go kind of thumbs up thing. He's a perfect little trash princess, and he needs more opportunities. You have him and Danny. I mean, first of all, him and Danny together, lots of fun. He has all of that heat. He has all of this drama behind him to build from. Give him something, and he will make a meal out of it. By the way, if you haven't seen him and Danny versus Fresh Air from Mystery Wrestling the night before, where they mentioned that Mox specifically told them not to get their cheeks clapped, and then they got their cheeks clapped.
Please watch that. That match is so great.
I will.
It's technically good, and it's hilarious.
Well, I'm so happy for both of you that you got to experience that. Sounds like a 10/10 pay-per-view for you then. Maybe not. Okay. So,
sorry.
Is there anything else we want to say about this pay-per-view before we throw it to a question from the men and others?
I can't believe AEW finally made a cute piece of merchandise with the Redemption hockey sweater. I really loved everything they did with Redemption aesthetic-wise. And while this pay-per-view definitely did not need to exist, and I hope they don't do it again next year, because I think it's bad to have a pay-per-view between this close to All In.
The Fleur de Lis.
At least they got cute aesthetic out of it.
The Fleur de Lis being the M in Redemption was really pretty and smart. I appreciated that.
Congrats to the graphic design team there.
Always love some solid design.
Yeah.
Just an aside, I miss when we only had 4 pay-per-views a year. It felt like there was a lot more time to actually get like proper builds.
Yeah, but then capitalism.
Yeah, capitalism.
I think it used to be better if they spread it out. Like if there was more time, like they should futz around with the schedules a bit. I think like they can make it work.
Even 6 is good. Like one every 2 months. That's a nice little build there. But
Capitalism.
like one a month, it feels like in Pacific Rim with the
war clock.
Yes.
Start the clock. God.
And soon they'll be coming every 10 minutes.
I need to rewatch
Anything else about the pay-per-view?
Right, it's so good.
All good.
All right, Doc, what you got for us?
All right. So I have this question. It's actually from the women in the audience. Excelsior Left. They had sent over this question over on audio.
Thank you, Doc. This is Excelsior Left, and I had a couple of questions. I actually did attend Redemption, so I'm excited to hear this. First question, assuming you agree, good boy Will is a golden retriever, then what kind of dog breed is Death Rider Billy? And if you don't think good guy Will is a golden retriever, what is he? Also, second question, if you read domestic thrillers, what is your favorite batshit domestic thriller author? Thanks for taking these.
So, what kind of dog breed is Will when he's with the Death Riders?
Chocolate Lab. Golden Retriever painted black.
Actually, Chocolate Lab is a very good choice because they are a little bit nuts. I had a dog who was half pit bull, half chocolate lab, and he had a bunch of neurological problems because of bad breeding. But that sort of, on the one hand, it's like, yeah, they make decent guard dogs, but on the other, they are
I was going to say a min pin.
And very sweet.
Because they're super athletic. I had one that could jump from the floor to my shoulder. But dumb as a box of rocks.
Certainly got that right.
Yeah. I think he's a husky.
Loud and dramatic.
Loud, dramatic, will let you know about their feelings in the drop of a hat. But when it's time to lock in, yes, they can lock in. But my God, you will hear about everything else.
And then, do any of you like reading thrillers?
I tend to like murder mysteries a little more. I'm looking right now at a list of domestic thrillers.
I really like Lisa Jewell.
To see if I've read any of them.
And Shari Lapina. They make some pretty good thrillers. I really enjoyed The Manor House by Julie McMillan. And if you can handle some violence, Maidens by Alex Michaelides. His big one is Silent Patient, but I preferred Maidens. It was a lot punchier. It went a lot faster. But it is kind of gory.
I don't read thrillers, unfortunately. I read sci-fi and fantasy, and I read pretentious literary nonsense. Those are my two genres. But I will say, since I can't talk about that, here are my other casting choices for Death Riders as dogs. I think Mox is a pit bull. I think Claudio is like a purebred German Shepherd, prestige dog, long lineage. I think Danny Garcia is a Chihuahua. I think Wheeler Yuta is a Shih Tzu. I think Pack is a Yorkshire Terrier. And I think that Marina Shafir is like a Doberman. Something very scary and intimidating. Those are my picks.
Those are all really good.
Yeah.
Thank
you.
Good.
Couldn't think of a thriller. Didn't know what domestic thriller was. Thinking of dogs.
I liked Gone Girl. I've read Gone Girl.
I also liked Gone Girl.
I tend to read. Okay, I read pretty eclectically. If anybody has a thriller recommendation, I will read it. I read a lot of fantasy, sci-fi, urban fantasy, a lot of like queer historical fiction. I really love. I love historical fiction in general, but queer historical fiction, soft spot in my heart.
You might really like Frozen River by Ariel Lahan. It's historical and it's kind of a thriller. And it's about a real midwife like post Revolutionary War in Massachusetts. It is very, very good.
Okay, adding that to the list. Yeah, read a lot of nerdy science, top history, and murder books. My aunt got me hooked on this Amish murder mystery series. They're popcorn reads. They're very quick reads for me. The first one in the series that came out after her death came out a few months ago, and I read that. Yeah, I keep meaning to go back and read more like actual literary stuff. Like I've been in the middle of a read of Les Miserables for several years. Like I read it and I was like, okay, I'll reread it. And then I keep getting distracted and wander off. That's my big problem. I keep getting distracted and wander off. I've been in the middle of the first Wheel of Time book for like 4 years now. And yeah.
Look, it's hard to find that time. I get it. Because I've been wanting to reread a book that my friend came out with some years ago, because the second in her series just came out not too long ago, and it's just like, oh, I want to read that. It's like, maybe I should reread the first one. It's like, oh, everything involves time, and that sucks.
Sorry. I'm finding that if I get an audiobook and listen to it at 2 speed, I'm more likely to power through and finish it. At least that's where I'm at mentally right now. That's all I can handle. I do want to say it's more horror than thriller, but yeah. Rosemary's Baby is a masterpiece. I mean, it is like the horror. To me, it's like the horror equivalent of Jane Austen's Emma. It is so intricate and tells like a story underneath the story. I think it's a brilliant book. If you haven't read it, I highly recommend it. I love Rosemary's Baby.
I read that one a long time ago. Yeah. I want to shout out actually some people that I know through the AW fandom who are authors real quick. Bria Lexor writes a lot of like fantasy and young adult stuff and romance, like fantasy romance and stuff. And Kay Reed, letter K, Reed, just came out with a young adult book. I am familiar with her through her fanfic, and her writing is just incredible. If you are an AEW fan and write or anything like that, yeah, please let me know because I want to read your stuff.
She's got a really nice cowboy one I read.
I knew I was forgetting someone.
Through my Libby app a while back called A Rancher's Reward.
What we're learning is we're not good at giving recommendations about thrillers except for maybe Wooster.
Yeah, sorry.
Right. It's like we will give you any other thing that just, it's in our wheelhouse, but it's not the wheelhouse you ask for. But we give you something.
I read a lot of books about divorce, but I don't think that's necessarily it's domestic. I just don't think it's a domestic thriller.
And with that, we're going to wrap it up. We are the Commentary Booth, produced and streamed by Doc at the Prescription Podcast. Our theme song is Jeong Song, Creature by Nico Angelo. I have been Wooster.
I've been Dee.
I've been Jane.
I've been Lauren.
Thanks, and we'll see you next time.
I have an online business card where you can see all the things that I'm currently up to. I have a Medium account because sometimes I do opinion pieces. I also have a writing blog where I do a little bit of practice here and there. I have a Ko-Fi account for people that want to commission me, buy some stuff directly from me. And I also have an online store via Redbubble. So to find where that is, the address is DanishaArtist.card.co. That's DanishaArtist.card.co.
I am a geek that has a YouTube channel, Cagney Chick 182.
You can find what Persephone writes. It's called, one of her comments is Chalupa and Scallop. It's over at Comic Fury.
Hi, this is Lauren, aka LW Salinas. You can find everywhere that I'm at my website, lwsalinas.com. That's lwsalinas.com. That includes writing and voice work, including articles, podcasts, audiobooks, audio dramas. You can also find me at my Blue Sky Sith Witch. That's SITHWITCH, where I live skate wrestling every Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, some Sundays, pretty much whenever I'm watching.